Hi everyone, it's Amanda from Loops and Love Crochet, and I'm just back with another quick video just to show you how to sew a lining into a crochet bag or a crochet pouch. So in the last video I went over how to sew a zipper onto a crochet bag, and then today I thought I would add a little lining to the crochet bag. So we'll get started on that in just a minute. Okay, here in front of me I have a little liner that I made for the bag, and I just measured a piece of fabric out of this bigger piece here and cut it out. So for the measurements, I made it about 1.5 inches wider than my bag, and then for height, I doubled the height of my bag, and then I added about another 1.5 inches to that. Once I did that, I folded the fabric in half, and then I just, well, when you fold it in half, make sure you put the correct side of the fabric on the inside, because that's the part you're going to see when you open the bag. And then I just sewed up the sides here. So I didn't use a sewing machine, I just did it by hand. That's why it's not super straight. I'm not a seamstress by any means. I mean, you could do this on a sewing machine. It wasn't too bad to sew it by hand though. So I just folded in a little bit on the sides, and I kind of used the width of my bag to estimate it a little bit. So as you can see, I folded over only a little bit on this side, but then this side I folded over more. And that was mostly because my fabric was a little bit crooked on the side already. And then when I matched up with the bag, it kind of seemed to work out better size-wise. It's about exactly the width of my bag now, so that's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold the top down here, and I'm going to fit it inside of the bag. So I'm just going to fold it down a little bit, and you can adjust this when it's inside the bag already, because it might be too high or too low. And I'm just going to insert the pocket into the bag. Alright, as soon as you're happy with how the lining is fitting inside of the bag, you can go ahead and get ready to start sewing it. I ended up pinning the lining roughly in here just to try to keep it from moving as I'm sewing it, so that it stays nice and tight. And I also want to be sure that I'm covering the stitches from sewing on the zipper. So I'm keeping that there. And I'm going to just use white thread because I thought that would match the lining the best and be the least noticeable. And I've already threaded it onto just like a regular sewing needle, and I'm keeping the thread doubled in thickness, and I've just tied a knot at the end here just so it's a little bit sturdier. I just left it doubled. Okay, and then I'm going to start in the corner of my bag, or close to the corner anyways. And I'm just going to start by just putting the needle through just the lining and bring it to the front, so the knot will be on the back. And then I'm just going to tuck that tail down in between here, just so that it's not sticking out. There we go. And as you're sewing this, just make sure that your stitches going through the zipper are lower than your crochet stitches here, so that you won't see the zipper stitches on the front. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into the zipper here, and I'm just gonna slide underneath of it, and then I'm just gonna pop back out through the lining here. For the first stitch. There we go. So I think these are just slip stitches. I think that's what they're called, but a sewing version, I guess, and not a crochet version of slip stitches. I'm not totally sure. So again, I'm just going to go back into the zipper here, travel a little bit and then come back out again. And you'll just want to make sure that your stitches are not visible on the front, which they are not for me. Then again, back into the zipper again, choose a spot to come back out again. And you'll want to pull it fairly tight, just to keep the stitches in there tight, keep the lining in there tight, and then hopefully it won't show up quite as much. Sometimes when the thread is doubled, you'll have to give each piece a little bit of a tug if it won't pull through all the way. Okay, so we'll go into the zipper again and come out behind the lining. And we'll just continue like that all the way across till we get to the corner. And I will meet you back there. All right, so we finished the stitches along one side of the bag, and I think it looks pretty good. They're not too noticeable there, they're pretty tiny. And now we're gonna go around the corner and then start coming back the other side. So we'll just keep continuing in the same way that we've been doing, just making sure that in the corner you're sewing it so it's not going to be affected by the zipper pulling, because you don't want the zipper to get stuck on the fabric as you pull it. So we'll just go in again and travel a little. Yeah, so we're just continuing in the same way as before. You might need a couple extra stitches in this little area just to keep the corners nice and flat. All right, our lining has been completely sewn in now. We did the one side, came around the edge, did the other side and finished off where we started. I think it looks pretty good. The stitches aren't that noticeable and we can't see them through on the outside, so that's an extra bonus there. I think the last thing that I might do is I'd take my needle and thread again and just do a couple stitches in each corner just to make sure the lining stays down. And the zipper travels fine without catching on anything, and I think it turned out super cute. I'm really loving this tapestry crochet bag here, and it's lined, which is extra awesome. I hope you love this pattern, and I hope you found this video helpful. You can find more free patterns on loopsandlovecrochet.com, and I'd love if you follow Loops and Love Crochet on Instagram and like on Facebook. Thanks for watching.